Hello, hello, STRU, what's going on? Let's check the lighting here. Is anybody live with me? Let's see, we got the chat going. I think I might turn on some lights. Let's see, 1 second. Is that better? Ooh, maybe not. Maybe if I sit back here. All right, guys, how are you? I'm coming to you live from the Ritz-Carlton in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. I'm honored. It's a privilege to be here. It's all about my why. My daughter is touring Georgetown tomorrow. I'm super psyched. We just came from my alma mater today. I attended the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, graduated in 1998 with an MBA in finance. And it was so cool to be on campus with my daughter, walking around sort of like where I was and introducing her to the University of Pennsylvania. It was just, that's sort of remarkable stuff. I don't know about this light. What do you guys think? Maybe I just leave it on and not worry about it. But anyway, this is my second week of spring break with my kids. Last week, I think you saw on Facebook and maybe Instagram, I was down in South Beach with my daughter, Natasha. I have 3 daughters, 3 different schools, although one of my daughters just got accepted to her first choice school, Hotchkiss. So I will have 3 daughters in 2 schools next year. But for this year, 3 daughters, 3 schools, 3 weeks of spring break. First week was in South Beach. Second week, which is happening right now, we went and toured Hamilton College, Colgate, Vassar, University of Pennsylvania, tomorrow Georgetown, Monday GW, and then that's the end of second week of spring break. And then the third week happens a few days later. I'm actually in the middle there. I'm going to be in New York City. I'm going to be filming some really great content with Charles. And then a few days after that, I'm going down to Harbor Island with my 3rd daughter for the 3rd week of spring break. So that's really cool. But March has just been insane. I fit in a couple of meetups in my travels. We met some folks in Miami. I had the privilege of meeting a couple of folks last night in Philadelphia. Citizens for STR is helping us promote a meetup tomorrow, Sunday, not tomorrow. Today's Friday. On Sunday the 17th at Dean and DeLuca in Georgetown or in Washington, D.C. I don't know. I'll be there. I'd love to meet you all. So come ask me some questions. Let's talk about what's going on in your life, what's happening in short-term rentals in your area, about your listings, about entrepreneurship, about opportunities, whatever it is. But that's what's going on. Incredible stuff. Super busy, super pumped. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining me on a Friday evening. I just really, appreciate your time and your energy. And if you're home after a busy week and this is going to help you sort of unwind, that's cool. We can take it down a notch. Although I generally go up, up, go. All right, let's see here. Joshua, Richard, looking good. YouTube critic, thumbs up. I got a thumbs up from the YouTube critic, yo. How many people have done that? This guy. YouTube critic, nice to have you here, my friend. Dynamic Living Solutions from Houston. Antonio, what a great experience. Bill, what's up, my man? Listen, you guys don't know this, but Bill is the guy behind the guy who makes it all happen. So nice to have you here, my friend Bill. Andrew Abner, love the background. This is a funny thing. I'm on this spring break with my daughter. I want to make it really kind of special, father-daughter, one-on-one. I wanted to get in the right mindset about sort of abundance and quality of life and be in the right mindset to pick a school or at least see a bunch of schools. So I'm trying as best as I can to make it as nice as possible. And that includes meals and lodging. And I have to tell you, I don't know if it's just the positive mindset. I don't know if it's the father-daughter thing, but we keep getting hooked up. And I love it. So I booked the Ritz-Carlton here in Georgetown, which is very convenient to where we're going. Beautiful hotel, absolutely gorgeous. And we check in and they're like, yeah, we upgraded you. We got you a corner 1-bedroom suite. And the thing is sweet. I'm in the living room area, I'm working on some content for Bill and a course that I'm working on and my book and stuff. And I have this whole, this is what I'm sitting at. Let's see. I got this whole nook over here. And then over here, I've got a TV. And then I got the corner window. You can see how bright it is. And, like, I wouldn't have paid for this, although it's awesome. I'm totally loving it. Let's see in here. Got the bedroom. Look, don't tell my daughter, but this is her sleeping pillow. How cute is that? Little sitting area. Anyway, so the point is, life is good. We got a lot of really interesting stuff. You love the background. I kind of like this a little more. Let's see if this works out. I'm going back to the area here. Thumbs up. I like the thumbs up. Thank you, my friends. Whoever did that, I appreciate it. And in the meantime, we're back to my little work area here. All right. We got Sharon from Connecticut. Hotchkiss is amazing. Yes, I've got 2 Bearcats. 2. It's amazing. What a quality institution. And it's kind of a funny thing. You go to some of these colleges, which are really beautiful, amazing campuses, wonderful facilities, but it's like inferior to the schools that my kids go to for high school. It's just, listen, education is key. Always be learning from the best. Just keep pushing yourself. And that was what was really cool about the University of Pennsylvania today. For those of you who don't know, it was founded by Benjamin Franklin, which is pretty remarkable. He started as a printer, and then he went on and did all these amazing things that they told us about today beyond being just a printer. So like, that was his vocation. That's what he was trained to do. That's what he started doing. And then he just kept growing and learning and pushing and stretching and imagining and taking risks and rising to the challenge. And the rest is history. And so like, we can all do that. And that was sort of the message that they were embarking on for my daughter, which was like, look, you might come here and think you want to be a liberal arts student, or you may want to be an engineer or a nurse, but given the breadth of the topics and the quality of the students, faculty, facilities, like, do not limit yourself. Push yourself. Just keep trying new things. If you want to start with creative writing and then take a Spanish class and then take a business class at Wharton, like, that's all available here. So just do it. And it's the same message that, I espouse on this channel and I've been saying forever, which is like, the only person who limits what it is that you do and how you do it and why you do it is you. Like, you. So you define yourself. You define your career, your aspirations, your goals, and some of you dream really big, and that's awesome. And we're going to give you the tools to achieve that, right? Like mindset, operationally, tools, techniques, like, you can do it. And then others of you are more confined in your thinking, or you've been taught that you can't do it, or you don't think you can do it, or it's really risky to try it, or you have fear, which is natural. Like, it's natural, but it's limiting. And getting over that hurdle is the challenge. And I've got some ideas. So I'm totally psyched to like work with some of you, all of you, anybody who wants to raise their hand. Like, that's the key thing. This stuff doesn't work if you don't raise your hand and say, I'm in, I want to take a chance. It doesn't work. If you're closed and you're not into it, it's not going to work. But if you're open, you could be Ben Franklin. You start as a printer. Printer? Really? Ben Franklin? Who knew that? So anyway, back to this. Super cool stuff, hanging with my daughter, getting her inspired. Silas people, my wife and I own deck out home. Awesome. Phoenix, Illinois. Chuck, Charles the man. Listen, Charles the man is coming tomorrow. Nope, I keep saying that. Sunday to Washington, D.C. He's going to film the meetup. We're going to film all sorts of content. I've got some really lit content for the YouTube channel. So Sunday's all about content. Then on Monday, he's coming to New York City, and we're going to do this course thing that I'm working on, which is really exciting. Bill's helping me. Erica's helping me. We got all sorts of team building going on. So I'm stretching. I'm going outside of my comfort zone. I'm not just sitting here saying like, you should do it. I'm actually doing it. And I'm doing it like legitimately. Hard work, grind, putting my name on it, getting like really, really excited about it. And it's going to happen, and it's going to be epic. It's going to be the best work I've ever done. And I'm psyched for that. So thank you, Charles. What else? We got Uruguay. All right. My man, Walter from Uruguay wins the furthest traveled via the internet to watch this live. So, Walter, you're the winner so far. If anybody comes from further away than Uruguay and I'm in Georgetown, post it right now. Yeah, that's nicer than the Trump. What's up, Matt? How we doing? You close on your third property Monday. Scale in 15 months. Yes. Guys, right now, Joshua Dorch, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, Joshua. It's not intentional, but give that man a thumbs up or a hallelujah or something. I mean, the dude is doing it. He's going for it, and it's amazing. And Josh, I would love to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And the main thing I want you to think about right now, if you're not completely automated, is to completely automate it, take yourself out of the bottleneck, create this like cash machine, right? Like the Airbnb, the 3 Airbnbs are a cash machine. They're throwing off profit. And what we need to do is be intelligent in how we invest that profit. It can go into more Airbnbs, and then you need to diversify. I just filmed a video. If you haven't seen it on the YouTube channel, make sure that you start to diversify your location so you're not taking undue risk, and you'll generate more return. Less risk, more return, winner. More risk, less return, loser. So I want to know what you're doing to diversify. And I also want to make sure that you're starting to think about things outside of real estate, right? Like once you get the cash machine, chugging along and it's throwing off the profits, it's now incumbent on us to be really responsible and diligent and save for things that are, seem like a long way away, like retirement and your kids' education. And, I got 3 daughters and I'm going to throw 3 lavish weddings, right? Like, got to have cash for that. So you need the cash machine. All right, Abner, way to hook up my man Josh. I love it. Josh, what was your plan to achieve your first investment property? D, she's raising her hand. D, I love it. Bill, how did you go from your first Airbnb to my OBX project? Now that's a long-winded story, and here's the basic premise. When I opened up my first Airbnb, and I'm sorry, this is looking kind of granular, like grainy. I'm not liking that. I'm going to move. When I opened up my first Airbnb, I didn't have the vision. I didn't understand like what I could do and what I could accomplish. And it's remarkable to me that I could go from one Airbnb. Hold on a second, guys. One Airbnb. To now developing 20 acres of waterfront property and 100 units, right? Like first stop is 14 units. I have multiple sets of plans for that. And then another 14, and we're gonna have 100 units down in the Outer Banks, like before we know it. And that wasn't part of like the scheme, but the cash machine is so strong that it supports that. And I've gotten there now. But one of the things that I want to work with all of you is to increase your vision and your goals and your goal setting and say, like, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. And some of you will be a real estate entrepreneur, but none of you, with few exceptions, should want to be just a host. So like if your passion in life is hosting and you dream of being like a bed and breakfast innkeeper or something, nothing wrong with that. That's totally cool. We can help you with all sorts of techniques and profit maximizing and also investing in yourself. Like that's wonderful. But like the goal for this guy here is to get you to think, oh, you know what? I'm Ben Franklin and I was a printer, but I'm also going to do this and do that and do the other and do the other and do the, like, limitless. Whatever you guys want to do, once you have the cash machine going, we're going to use that cash machine and redirect it into other things. It could be more real estate. It could be different kinds of real estate. It could be stocks. It could be bonds. It could be commodities. You could invest in timber. It doesn't matter, but you have to start thinking broader and deeper. And so, Bill, to your point, when I started with my very first Airbnb, it was because I couldn't rent something at the price I thought it warranted on a long-term basis. And so 5, 6 years ago, I thought I'd take a chance on Airbnb and see what that was like. But because I always have identified as an entrepreneur, I didn't limit myself to say I'm an Airbnb host and this is what I'm going to do. I sort of said, wow, this is great. And then I opened up another one, and then I created a 15-year plan, which is a video on YouTube. It's been quite popular. Hopefully you guys have watched it. If you haven't watched the 15-year plan, check it out. But that was consistent with everything I'm teaching you, which is like, know what your why is, and then work to get it. And I better put this thing down because it's not sustainable holding it. And so the lessons that I've learned, Bill, on this journey, I want other people to adopt sooner. Get them to where they need to go, where they can go, where they want to go faster, and change that mindset away from, oh, I'm a Airbnb host, or I'm a super host, or I've got 3 properties. Well, that's great. But what if you really should have 20 properties or develop properties, or you should be, super set up for your retirement, or have your kids' 529 plan fully funded for college, like, so that you're just financially secure and able to do what it is that you want. And I'm not suggesting anybody leave their job if you find it fulfilling, then great, like totally great. But if you don't find it fulfilling, then it's probably not a great use of your time, and you're probably doing it for financial reasons, and maybe in a coordinated fashion, there's a way to scale out of that and into something different. But it starts with changing the mind. If you're just a printer like Ben Franklin, well, then, maybe he's got more printing presses, and he's printing more books, and he's printing more tomes, and he's printing more paper. And like, the world is a better place because Ben Franklin moved beyond the self-limiting belief that he was just a printer. And that's sort of my point here. And I had no idea I was even going to talk about this on the live, but I think it's really timely. That was what the University of Pennsylvania imparted on my daughter and the other couple hundred people that were touring, and it just resonated with me. I hope it resonates with you. All right, looks like people are posting some stuff here. We have 40 people live. Thank you so much. Only 7 thumbs up. So like, I don't know, 35 of you kind of think, not that great, not that wonderful. So come on, guys, give me a couple of thumbs up, maybe even a heart. I don't know how you do that, but I would like that very much. Speaking of diversification, I have an opportunity to buy an old mom and pop motel still fully operating with 21 units ranging from studios to 2-bedroom bungalows and making it an STR facility. Brian, I love it. I want to make sure that it's perfectly legal, right? So let's check on zoning before you buy that. Let's make sure that we got 13, 14, we doubled. Look, I'm going to be optimistic. I got 100% return on that comment. Can't go wrong with that, but 200 is even better, or 300. So some of you guys, just get the thumbs up. So let's make sure that it's completely legal. Short-term rentals aren't a problem. And then just take a look at, what the cost is and what the return is. But I love the concept of buying a motel. They're super popular now. People love staying in them. They like that retro sort of feel and look. And as I've said, the whole future, I believe, of short-term rentals is an experience. There's a lot of institutional money that's coming into the space right now. And basically what they're doing is creating really generic, like just crap, like plain vanilla, right? Like sterile. Yeah, they're clean, but they're sterile. They've got no personality. Nobody really like wants to be there. It's sort of maybe like if you think of a work trip and you just need a place to stay, like that's where the money's going. And in all business, I don't care what kind of business it is, you either want to be the low-cost provider, IKEA, Walmart, or you want to be the high-cost provider, the Ritz-Carlton, the Rolex, the Tiffany's, whatever, right? Like, you do not want to be in the middle, ever. That's no man's land. That's death. It's the same thing from a Airbnb perspective. You either want to have great experience that people are raving about, and you're like, I don't know, a yurt in the rainforest, you got horses, you got llamas, you got all sorts of really interesting stuff that attracts a certain tribe and they're willing to pay for it. Or you want to be, low cost and working with like hostels and youth, and like there's a ton of demand. That middle section, that no man's land, that plain vanilla in terms of price and experience, like that just gets squeezed out. That's where everyone goes. That's where all the competition is. That's where there's no excitement. There's no energy. There's no pricing power. And then what happens is people start to just price down because they're like, hey, I don't have any occupancy. Well, duh, you don't have any occupancy. The experience sucks. Like, who wants to stay there? I don't want to stay there. I'll pay less for that. But you know what? I'll spend a fortune for something really cool. cool, right? I think that was a great Airbnb experience. That was super cool. We took these photos. She put it on Instagram. She shared it. Like, as a dad, I pay for that. And so do you. So I think it's really cool. That whole retro thing is really amazing. And I would say that if the numbers work, go for it. Virginia, a house, I don't even know, Chincoteague Island, Virginia. Jeff, that sounds pretty legit. I'm looking for places and need funding. Okay, well, look, some of the best entrepreneurs in the world look for funding for an extremely long amount of time, I think, and I'm in the process of researching this right now so I get the statistics right. But order of magnitude, Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken got turned down, I think, by the first 99 or 100 banks that he approached. And then he retired like, super wealthy. So, Antonio, when there's a will, there's a way, my friend. Keep looking. Jan, hey, Richard, a specific question about conventional financing. Have you seen lenders agreeing to use STR income as seasoning? I've talked with two, and they both say they prefer long-term leases. Yes, check out Better Mortgage. BetterMortgage.com. They'll approve immediately. Now, you do have to have a track record. You can't just say, like, I'm going to Airbnb. The actual property that they're going to finance, I think, has to have a year or 2 years so they can actually use it. But that is going to start happening without a shadow of a doubt. Like, this whole short-term rental impact on real estate, we're so early. Like, the fact that you can't get financing on it, the fact that you can't really get insurance on it. There's only two, CBIZ and proper insurance. The fact that you can't get financing on it. The fact that I just sat at the economic summit for Tony Robbins and Whistler with all these billionaires. A real estate expert sat up there and he broke out this quadrant chart of like different types of real estate investing. This guy's a legacy. This guy's like worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He owns billions of dollars of real estate. So this guy's an expert in the real estate market. He puts up like the different types of real estate investing. And I look at it, there's no short-term rentals on there. There's long-term rentals, there's multifamily, there's industrial, there's retail, there's, like warehouse, like on and on and on. Short-term rentals isn't even in his like domain. Like, he doesn't even think short-term rentals are a real estate investment. He's unaware. So the point is, we're really early in this, but it's certainly the fastest growing and certainly the most profitable area of real estate investing. And in fact, in today's world, in today's economy, it's sort of like where I sit. And just to remind you, I don't really like to talk about it. I'm being encouraged to talk about it more and more. But in my first life, I ran a $4.2 billion hedge fund. And my job was to go find uncorrelated assets all around the world, things that like nobody had ever heard of, that didn't correlate to stocks or bonds or real estate or oil, like just generated alpha, and with the least amount of risk. So we called it asymmetric risk reward. So I wanted to lose as little money as possible, meaning the safest possible bet that would generate as much return as possible with almost no correlation to the rest of my stuff in the portfolio. And that's sort of like the secret sauce. If you can do that, if you can create uncorrelated asymmetric risk reward profiles, you win. That's like very hard to do, but that is the secret to investing on an institutional level for billions of dollars for some of the best names in the world. And so that's sort of the lens that I view the world through, and that's how I got to Airbnb investing. And my point in all of this is the legacy people, the people that are doing the most real estate, the most transactions, they still don't even know what Airbnb is. They haven't entered it. There's been a few players that have entered, and they're going in like what I think is the worst area, plain vanilla, mid-market, like competing with, a Marriott. And that's just not a place you want to be. So you can get financing from bettermortgage.com, assuming you have enough history. There will be other people that start to offer it. It's just the wave of the future. All of this, to me, as an asset manager, means we are early in the game. We are really, really early in the game. Fast forward 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not only Better Mortgage and not only proper insurance and CIBZ, everyone's going to do it. But we're not there yet. So that's the good news. We're here early, and I love that. Say that. Whew. A lot's been going on. I contacted a friend of mine that I worked with at the Blackstone Group. He was a professional marketer, and I said, dude, listen, there's so much opportunity right now. I've been refining sort of a methodology and a process. A lot of the stuff that I do is very intuitive to me. Like I don't rely on models necessarily, and I don't need a lot of data or information. Like I just sort of am attracted to certain things, and then I do some work on those certain things. But it's really hard to educate people on what I'm doing. So with Bill's help and Erica's help and Charles's help, I've been literally like working to quantify what it is that I do and document the step-by-step process. And in that process, an interesting thing happened. I realized how much bigger than my intuition. So it's actually been really rewarding for me because it sort of opened my eyes as to how big the opportunity is. And so he's in the process right now of speaking to a few family offices, some high net worth individuals. We're likely going to raise a fund and start to do some investing. And then with certain people, likely accredited people, we'll open it up for co-investment opportunity. But I'm not soliciting anybody. I don't want anybody's money. This isn't like a pitch or anything. I'm answering the question. And it's really timely because I had that conversation today while I was in the car driving from University of Pennsylvania to Georgetown. And my daughter's like, what? And my friend is like, listen, I don't think you want to raise less than $100 million, and I can raise that for you. So there's going to be some investments happening. There's all sorts of amazing things happening in and around this space. I want to document it. I want to invite you guys along. I want to teach you. You guys are teaching me, right? Like through your encouragement and Bill's encouragement and Charles and Erica, I'm now quantifying some of the stuff that comes intuitively to me, and I'm growing as a result of it, and I'm growing because I want to teach you guys this, and it's amazing stuff, man. Life is amazing. I would love to talk to you one-on-one. You really need ideas. Columbia 21. Direct message me on STR Instagram. If you guys aren't following, listen, there's so much content out there. I want to make sure that we're cross-pollinating because I get the sense that a lot of people on the YouTube channel aren't in the Facebook group. A lot of people in the Facebook group aren't on the YouTube channel. A lot of people aren't on Instagram. A lot of people aren't on my email list. If you wanted to make a bet on this guy, or said differently, if I wanted to learn from me, I would subscribe to my email list because that's where I'm putting, like, I think the stuff that's really going to move the needle. The YouTube channel, I think, is really great, and we're moving into a more informative, impactful area. We're starting to talk about financing, investment ideas, methodologies. We're moving away from like just pure Airbnb tips and tools. And, there's a lot of information already there. There's a lot of information on YouTube. There's a lot of information in other courses. There's just like, at this point, we've got to move on. There's a lot of things that I can really be helpful with. So we're going to do that. But my point is, everyone on this thing, and right now there's 50 people, only 21 thumbs up, but 50 people. Everyone that's listening to this should be on YouTube, which you are, in our Facebook group, which is called Short-Term Rental University on Facebook. There's 12,000 plus hosts, all sorts of information, all sorts of tips, all sorts of resources. When you have a question about like this happened and that happened, don't lean on me. There's 12,000 other people there, and it's all free. So like, just go to the Facebook group. You should be on the YouTube, the email list. So go to www.str.university and put in your email. I write really lengthy emails on Sundays, whatever's on my mind. I get tons of replies, which are really the fuel and a lot of inspiration. People share with me incredible stories of success and overcoming defeat and failure and worries, and like I respond, like I'm into this, so I respond. So I would do that, and then I would also follow me personally on Instagram. I'm Richard Fertig, and also check out the STRU Instagram because we put little things in there that relate to short-term rentals. But like, if you want more of me, it's all there. It's all free. So like, do all of that. We're going to have some more content that is more proximity to me. more contact with me, more of my knowledge. And that'll be for some of you, but not for all. But in the meantime, what I'm here to tell you is do all those things for free and you're going to grow. But thank you, Columbia. I'd love to talk to you too. Sue, you're so glad you caught this. How have you handled the issue of Airbnb insurance and liability? I just have insurance for short-term rentals through proper insurance, and I use the Airbnb insurance. But thankfully, I've never had to use any insurance at all. So it's just like a insurance policy, right? Let's see. Jan, look at the Host Financial. They specialize in STR. Talk to Dan there. Thank you, Matt, for sharing. You got to show the ton of cash on your short-term rental with 1 or 2 year record. That is why my conventional bank tells me. That's why I'm trying to add a third property by land contract. Okay. Look, I said this before. When there's a will, there's a way. And just keep doing what you need to do. STRU Investment Group. I'd like to see that thrive in 2019 and beyond. But like my vision there is people like you can go and say, I've got this great deal. I'm looking to raise 50,000 or 100,000. Or people say I have 50,000 or 100,000 and I'm looking for deals. So STRU investment platform. It's free, but there's no charge or anything. It's just really matchmaking. Just like if I can be helpful in bringing somebody who has money with somebody who has an idea, let's do it, guys. All right, Jan, thanks, will do. You can buy Airbnb. Uh-oh, my thing moved too much. How do I identify property out of state and other areas that might have a low cost? Great question. The area is so expensive that the ROI is too low. There is so much opportunity in remote areas, and it's important to do in areas that aren't in your backyard for diversification. So that's a great place to start. There's all sorts of tools with like AirDNA has tools, Mashvisor has tools. Just Google it, like best places to invest. There's blogs written about it. I'm writing about it in the near future. I'm going to show people exactly what it is that I've learned to do, right? As I try and quantify my methodology as opposed to the intuitive stuff. But you're onto the right thing. Alice, hello and good day. Let's see, Marion, when will short-term rental university accept students again? You know, I'm working with my team right now to define exactly what the new membership is going to look like. We're developing a new course, and it's really great stuff. I'm really, really proud of this work. I think it's really going to change a lot of lives. So I'm pumped, and we will be reopening, and we will make the announcement, and we'll tell you what's involved and what it's going to be. But it's going to be a game changer, and I'm totally psyched. So thank you for the question, Marion. We'd love to have you on board. Guys, 49 people, 25 likes. Come on. Yes! Somebody. Yes, it's Friday. It's Friday. We're with like friends and loved ones and family. And, you know, it's funny. I'm sitting here cheering. I'm here in the Ritz-Carlton hotel room, and I'm alone. My daughter is out with her friends, but I am so happy that she's here with her friends. And check this out. I am so happy that tomorrow night I'm hosting her and her friends for dinner, and we're going to come chill here, and we're going to create this like wonderful environment. She's going to be proud, and I'm going to be proud, and like that's my why. So anyway, you guys need to start throwing some yeses into the comments and some thumbs up, because otherwise, you know, this double espresso doesn't really do enough. Like I need the fuel and the energy. If Airbnb goes public, they will get greedy to feed the stock monster. What are my thoughts? Well, I think you're right, and I filmed a video about this. I think Airbnb will become much more driven by quarterly profits, and so they will try and, you know, grow steadily. They just announced that they're delaying the IPO, I think, into 2020, which is kind of interesting to me because I think the stock market's a little top-heavy here. I think the next move is probably down. So if I was going to go public with something, I would probably be rushing to go public in 2019 and not delaying. So the fact that they're delaying kind of tells me that there's something internal that they're aware of that they haven't made public. And it could just be as simple as like the rate of growth has slowed. It's still growing very quickly. It's the fastest growing real estate part of the real estate market. It's the single largest hotel company in the world. It owns no assets. It's infinitely scalable. Every single person has a roof over their head. So like there's a lot of great things, but my guess is in their own measurement, they've seen like slowing and they don't want to go public until they fix that. So they're probably fixing it. You know, I generally tend to be optimistic, and I think that more regulation and more scrutiny and more what's the right word, compliance and things like that will benefit the platform. They'll be more institutionalized in the way that they handle hosting matters and discrepancies and insurance, because they won't be, you know, a young startup. They'll have like real, you know, reporting responsibilities to, let's say, the NASDAQ. So I think it's probably a good thing. It's worth $38 billion right now. It's a huge company, and it's a private company, so it'll go public, and I don't think it'll really change too much, but I think it'll be optimistically from my perspective, it'll probably be a more scalable, permanent solution. And, you know, if I'm running a business, I want that. I don't want to be at the mercy of like some young CEO who changes his mind. You know, look at like Elon Musk. It's a public company, but he gets a lot of criticism for being still in the startup phase. And, you know, he's been sanctioned. He may get kicked out. He may not be the CEO forever. So like some good things can come of it too. And I'm a huge Elon Musk fan. I mean, talk about a guy with like vision and goals and opportunity. Like, he's not limiting himself at all. Look at all the stuff that he's got going on at the same time, right? Like, he has solar, and then he bought that. He's got the gigafactories. He's got Tesla, which now just released like the Y car. He's got the Boring Company bringing transportation into LA. He's got, you know, SpaceX. Like, there's a guy that we can all learn from. So he may be immature in the way that he runs his business, and like the business itself needs some stability. But I mean, as entrepreneurs, that's somebody that we should be following really carefully. Like, how guys mind work? How does he find opportunities? How can he get as much done on a given day as he does? And that's inspiration. And as entrepreneurs, we all need inspiration, right? Because some of the stuff that we work on can be pretty mundane, and it can get us down. Like, oh, I got a bad review, or I have vacancy, or my roof collapsed. Like, these are realities in our businesses, but we have to just ride past those. Like, we just have to keep charging past that. That's temporary, because the Airbnb cash machine has a bigger purpose, right? Like, that's why I keep talking about the why. Why are you guys doing this? When you know that like image, and I'm going to get this for I don't know, we'll put it somewhere, but you know, like the sausage factory, the meat goes in, it gets ground, and out comes like the sausage on the other end. So that's the Airbnb machine, right? Like, in the middle is the Airbnb. It's your hard work. The other end comes cash, and that cash goes towards our why. It could be retirement. It could be our family. It could be our kids. It could be college education for our kids. It could be for scaling more Airbnbs. It doesn't really matter to me what your why is, as long as you know what your why is. Then when the roof collapses or you get the 1-star review, you're just like, cost of doing business. Let's keep moving on to the next one. And that's critical. That's critical, because I am not a believer in get rich quick schemes. They don't work. Don't believe the hype. This is hard work. It takes years. You have a 30-year mortgage. Like, hopefully you're in good health, and that's a huge component to like mental health, like physical health, mental health. Knowing your why, that's going to propel you past any of these like temporary blips. And if you're not mentally healthy, if you're not physically healthy, if you don't know what your why is, then you quit. And that's unfortunate, because it's such a huge, robust opportunity that we should all be just like holding on to this cash machine for as long as possible. And I said earlier, we're in the early innings. You know, maybe we're in the second inning or the third inning at most. But the fact that there's no financing, the fact that there's no insurance, the fact that legacy experts in real estate don't even consider short-term renting like a real thing. I mean, we're early, folks. We're early. All right, while I scroll down, I would appreciate if you guys would just like type yes in the comments. So as I go down, I find like all this yes, and that brings my energy up. I'm gonna go watch Nailogical. So bye-bye. Bye-bye, Alice. Enjoy Nailogical. Hope you're doing this. Oh, you're so happy. Retta, I'm so happy you're here with me. Vishay Harrington, I'm under contract for my 4th rental. I'm nervous and excited. I'm believing the vacation rental customers will come. You know what? Check this out, Vishay. That nervous and that excited, that means you're growing, yo. Like, you're growing. That's what that means. Like, those butterflies that you feel, That's amazing. Like, we should all be striving to feel butterflies. If you haven't felt butterflies in a while, you haven't taken any risk and you're not growing. So, like, celebrate those butterflies. Like, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for butterflies. If we can find butterflies, we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to lose some money. We're going to get, a little cut up or beat up. That's okay. We're going to find more butterflies and we're going to win. And as long as we're searching for those butterflies, that's our body telling us, like, I'm growing, I'm stretching, I'm getting out of my comfort zone. If you're not feeling that, folks, you got to feel that. So do me a favor in the comments. When was the last time you felt butterflies and what made you get there? Was it a risk in your business? Was it a risk in, it could be a risk in a relationship. It could be a risk, spiritually. It doesn't matter. But like, if you're not feeling those butterflies, then you're just going through life and life is passing you by and you got to figure out how to get to those butterflies, because that's the stuff that's worth living for. So Vishay, I love it. Thank you for sharing. American German. Hello, 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 hello. Reed Hansen. I'm on YouTube and not Facebook. Reed, get on Facebook. You don't have to do anything else on Facebook except interface with our community. 12,000 hosts that live and breathe this, that host every single day all over the world, have so much knowledge to impart, and you have knowledge to impart on them. Like, I don't care if you don't use Facebook for anything else, but it's completely free. And there's 12,000 like-minded entrepreneurs there that are just like breaking it down and delivering knowledge bombs. Like, that's worth getting the app. Again, it's free. So do it. AT Maverick, any news about the August smart lock? Is it worth it? Thank you. I have, that's one of the videos Charles and I are going to film. I started using it in my Jackson Hole place. I ended up leaving shortly thereafter, so I haven't used it for an extensive period of time. But I really like it personally. It's kind of like, I don't want to have keys. Why do I need keys? And it works really well. I've had zero issues with it. I did have a power outage once, and that was kind of weird. I had a key hidden, so like I just entered, manually with the key that time. But that had nothing to do with the August lock. That was just a power outage. But with traditional locks, power doesn't matter. So you just need to be sure that you've got a redundancy plan, you've got a key hidden, and I've been really pleased with it. My biggest complaint on the August lock, believe it or not, is aesthetics. I do not like the way it looks. It's huge, but, like, whatever. It really makes my life much easier, which is really what I care about. So thumbs up on that. All right, Reed, on Facebook and post your first thing. You go on Facebook, you let me know when you're there, and I will personally welcome you and introduce you to the group. How about that? Vishay, no Asheville, and Maggie, all North Carolina. Cool. Prestige Yachts, what's up? CL, girlfriend, what's going on? We got some yeses. I love it. Friends, I'm scrolling. There's a lot of comments here, which is super cool. Fry, yay. CL. Tim, what's going on? Tim Pringle. Kevin Mellinson, Airbnb, a boat in Seattle, worked on Netflix show Stay Here. I love it, man. That's a really cool experience right there. That's something I'd like to do. What do I think of the Airbnb boat? We talked about that. Thoughts on cash out refinancing versus saving and not accruing more debt? Okay. It's a very personal topic. Most people are risk averse and therefore they are debt averse. And that's natural. I get it. But now I'm talking about like the kind of stuff that I studied at the Wharton School where I got my master's in finance. Debt is important. Debt is important. If you don't use debt intelligently, safely, you are leaving money on the table. There's this concept called an efficient frontier, and that's basically will show you the most efficient allocation for all of your capital to generate the highest reward with the lowest risk. Again, that's the secret for successful money management. Most reward, least risk, and there's this efficient frontier. If you don't use debt intelligently, you are inefficient. You are suboptimal. Counterintuitive, maybe feels risky, but everybody should have some debt, especially at these really low interest rates. I know they've gone up, and I filmed a whole video on interest rates going up, and I think they continue to go up. So before they go up, Having some debt is good. I've also recommended for the people that have been in our different courses in the past, everybody should have a HELOC. You should go open up a home equity line of credit or a second mortgage, and you just want to have that as a backup, as a safety. Even if you don't use it, it'll cost you $100 a year, $150 a year, but you want to have as big a home equity line of credit, untapped, ready to tap. God forbid you either need it, or more exciting, like you want it, like you found something you want to do, you don't have to apply for a mortgage. You've got a way to access the equity in your home. And I would only do that not to go buy a fancy car or take a vacation, but to invest in yourself. If it's going to promote you and yourself and you're going to grow and it's going to bring you an opportunity that you wouldn't have without access to that capital, you want to have a HELOC that you can draw down. And here's the beautiful thing. This is super important. Like, I've learned this time and time again through all of my investing. I used to be a huge investor in what's called credit, which is basically buying and selling debt. The only time that you want to have like a debt application out, when you want to go get that mortgage, when you want to get the home equity line of credit, is when you don't need it. When you need credit, you won't get it. So when you don't need it, go line it up, pay the $150, don't tap it, don't use it, pay $150 12 months from now, pay another $150 12 months from now, but get the line of credit now when you don't need it. Because God forbid when you do need it, or God forbid that now you need it, you kind of want it, you got this great investment opportunity, that's not the time to be applying for credit. So go get the HELOC now. And again, Andy, to answer your question specifically, I would only be doing that refinancing if there was an investment opportunity that was really compelling, that warranted it. I would not be refinancing just to take debt and be like on the efficient frontier. In fact, one of the beautiful things about real estate investing is that forced savings every single month. Like, most people can't save every single month, but if you have a mortgage on your property, you are forced to save every single month. The wealth that I've created in my life is largely due to that forced savings, because I'm like you, I can spend it, and I have spent it, and I know how to spend it really well. I have a great time spending it. And that's something that I want to encourage you guys to do too, which is to start to celebrate some of these wins, start to celebrate some of this success. I don't want you to be imprudent and not save, but if you're doing well enough that you are saving plenty and you've got your retirement sorted out and your kids' 529 plan and your kids' weddings and your home and your vacation and your business and your cash machine, if all that's working, then I want to make sure that we're taking a little bit of this fun money and loving life and living life and rewarding and celebrating. And it could be whatever. It could be clothing. It could be travel. It could be, private jets. I don't care what it is that motivates you, but you got to get to that point where you're not just saving, and 80 years go by and you're kind of well, now my health is failing and I've got this fortune. And that's what happens through power of compounding when you save. We've all heard the story, or maybe we haven't, but I'll tell it now. There was some guy, I think he worked at UPS. I think he made $30,000, no more than $30,000. And he saved 50% of it. He just basically saved as much as he possibly could. And he died, and he gifted, I forget the town. He gifted them $40 million. And everyone was like, what? The guy was a UPS worker. And it's amazing that he had that much money, but that's the power of compounding. Long amount of time, we're talking, if you can compound for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, anybody who gives me 30, let's just say 40 years, 40 years and one Airbnb, I guarantee you're worth millions of dollars by the end of your, 40-year period. Guaranteed. Now, if you spend it, I can't help you. But if you work with me and I tell you, try this savings or try this scale, and we're going to save it for 40 years, multi-millionaire, guaranteed. Not a problem. Really not an issue at all. But time is really important. So the sooner you start, it's really critical. B, thumbs up. Yes, yes, yes. I want to do Airbnb in Orlando, Florida. It's near a city, major tourist because of Disney and Universal Studios. And C. Ali, that's a great place, but just realize that same investment thesis, you're not alone, right? Like that's not a secret. A lot of people want to do that too. It's not to say that it doesn't work. It's not to say that you can't do it better, but it is to say a lot of people are aware that in Orlando there's Disney and there's a lot of tourism, and so you just want to check on competition. Josephine, thumbs up. Bray Hill House, this place in New Hampshire needs me. Why does it need me? What am I going to do in New Hampshire? I mean, I love New Hampshire. What does it give me? Freedom or give me death? The Balsam Resort Calm. I'll have to check that out in a little bit. You were least affected by climate change. Yeah, that's true. Milas, what do I think about constant regulation attack against Airbnb? You know, Milas, my friend, I'm not picking on you. I'm just using you as an example. I think that's a lot of negativity in that one sentence, right? Like constant regulation attack against. There's nothing positive there. I view the world from a positive perspective. So, okay, there's a lot of regulatory challenges that Airbnb and hosts face in a lot of different communities. Totally on board with that. But I actually view regulation as a positive. It's part of my investment thesis. I will only invest, if I raise this $100 million fund with my friend from Blackstone, I'm only going to invest in cities or areas that have heavy regulation, that have taxes on top of regulation. And why am I doing that? Because then I know I have a business, a sustainable, repeatable business that nobody can take away. But if there was no regulation or little regulation or vague regulation, then somebody could change their mind and they could put in place new regulation and my entire $100 million could just like evaporate, right? So I look at regulation as sort of giving me the lay of the land. Like, here's the map. It's kind of like if you looked at a map and there's swamps everywhere, yeah, you want to avoid the swamps. So let's just build in other areas. And regulation is clarity. It's giving me the map. Like, here, Richard, here's where you should invest. And I will only invest in places that are heavily regulated, clearly documented. And I also add one more challenge to that. I want to invest in places where it is taxed. The short-term rental has a lodging tax associated with it. And the reason I want to do that is because it's a little bit like those communities need that tax and that income to fix the roads and, you know, install lights and give to the schools and the community. And so I believe in all that personally, but more importantly, the community is unlikely to change the regulation or the tax structure to the negative. They're not going to get rid of it. They may increase it. That tends to be what happens with taxation. But so for me, you know, again, Milas, not picking on you, but like, let's just spin that into a more positive perspective and like what good can come from regulation. And in my particular case, a lot of good can come from regulation. I hope you feel similarly after I explained it. What other types of investments do you recommend in a recession? Wow. I like to hold cash during a recession, and I like income producing properties. I mean, there's really nothing else. Everything else is just going to basically go down. You can do things with volatility. We talked about that, I think, the last time. So in a recession, especially at the very beginning or points of inflection, there tends to be a spike in volatility, and you can play that. It's really challenging. It can be expensive. You can lose a lot of money. But if you know what you're doing, like volatility is a really interesting play. And you know, I'm also a big believer in blockchain, and I would encourage a small, 1% position in Bitcoin, which could be the next digital gold, and like that might do just fine in a recession. Do you use any website or other platform for bookings outside of Airbnb? Antonio, my friend, I use HomeAway, and that's it. But I'm in the process right now of launching my own website and actually a website tool for all of you. Working with my team to figure out whether we give it away for free or we charge like, I don't know, $1.99 or it's part of the course. Like, I don't really know what it is, but Hardik, my main man, has created something that's really cool, and we're going to share it with as many people as possible. So if you want to use, create your own website, we've got a tool that with one click, you're live in like a minute. So that's kind of coming around the corner. A-Team Maverick, Superman, Elon Musk, no doubt. PayPal Mafia documentary, I've got to watch that. Crypto, see? TRX and XRP, Booking.com, TripAdvisor, Better Mortgage. I did good, Doc, A-Team Maverick. 1221, don't do it. Just don't do it, man. I don't know what it is, but do not do it. What do I think about Airbnb and HomeAway lowers your chance of getting booked? I don't think anything lowers any chances. You could turn one of them off and see what your occupancy rate looks like. I mean, obviously you can only get booked on one platform. So if you're on more than one platform, your bookings on the platform that you're like testing will likely go down because your calendar is now blocked. But that doesn't mean that it's like a negative thing. You might have more occupancy using both. 1221, yes. Bray Hill, yes. I love it. You are only popular STR YouTuber I know. C. Ali. Wow. Well, thank you very much. Yes. Look at you guys. Yes. You guys rock. On a Friday evening, late into the week. We're closing down the week here together. I love it. Be sure you use good software. Do I foresee REITs that deal exclusively in Airbnb? That is a great question, Prestige Yachts. And the answer is yes. Not anytime soon, but yes. And, like this guy, who knows? Vishay, I rock. You love this. Heart, I love you, man. Or woman, I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't know. Vishay. Clint, any chance that Airbnb brings Airbnb Plus to New York City? No. Airbnb in New York City don't really jive very well. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I have one listing on Airbnb in New York City. I have on my to-do list to film a video about it. New York City has 30-day minimum stays. So, like, I didn't know whether that would be good or bad. And it's amazing. It's been quite good. So if any of you are looking to do 30-day plus stays, my experience in New York City has been very positive. And I will film a video about that eventually. Come on with the website I'm in. Tubbs Hill. All right. I want to do with my property in Athens. The website thing greatly interests me. It's coming, guys. You got to just, be patient. We have so many things going on that we're getting there. All right. Silas, am I hiring? I'm always looking for talent. I don't know what kind of talent, but I'm always looking for talent. I want to do it with my property in Athens. Do I foresee Priceline type for Airbnb, where I guess we'll put in what they can look for and at what price, and a host can decide to accept it? I don't know. But I did say, and I maintain this, I thought a killer app would be, since like I don't really care whether I get an Uber or a Lyft or a Get or a Via or like, they're all the same, and the same car and the same driver like operate for all of them. So it doesn't really matter. But like my idea, and I'm not going to follow up on this because I'm a little too busy, but like, what about a different app that basically just finds the closest car at the cheapest price and books it? And you don't care whether it's Uber or Lyft or anything like that, right? Like that's where it's got to go. It's got to go there. I think somebody tried to do it and Uber sued them. But as it relates to Airbnb, I don't know about a Priceline like bidding sort of thing, maybe. But what about like searching all of the different platforms, Booking and Airbnb and VRBO, and looking for, a 4-bedroom? And I don't want to be the host that wins that competition, because that's basically least value, least experience, least money. People searching in that fashion are not necessarily the best guests. And I'm going to film a video on my new business model. It's really simple, right? Like keep stuff simple, but check this out. And if this resonates, then I want you guys to like, what do I want you to say? Can't be yes, because we already have a lot of those. How about say, hell yeah, okay? So here's the new business model, and I'm going to film a video about it, and it's really easy, and pardon my French, but screw it, it's Friday night. Maybe some of you are having some adult beverages, so it doesn't really matter. The new business model. Cool shit with cool people. Period. Hell yeah. Like, hell yeah. So the people that are staying in my Airbnb, they have to be cool people. They have to be the kind of people that I want in my place, not like the people that are trying to stay there for the least amount of money and I'm doing it for the money and like we're off to a bad start. I want to create experiences that are super cool, that attract a certain type of people, that are going to pay for it and like we're both win. I get paid, I get compensated, my cash machine is generating, the sausage is coming out the other end of the factory. I take that sausage, I reinvest it into something else, right? And the people get more than they bargained for. Like they're getting like this wonderful experience. And like I'm totally into the experience, so it's even better than they thought. I'm adding more value. And like we keep doing that, man, my cash machine, the sausages just keep coming out. And then I've got to figure out, like, we've seen that, maybe you guys are too young, but what is it? Lucille Ball, I Love Lucy. We saw that like conveyor belt where she's struggling. The conveyor belt's going too quickly. The candies are falling on the floor. Like she doesn't know what to do. Well, like that's the cash machine we're going for. And the way you're going to get to that cash machine is not, in my opinion, by plain vanilla, mediocre, mid-market, and competing on price. You're going to get there by adding extreme value, by getting people that are really, really into what you're doing, that want your personality. Like somebody here said that they like me on YouTube and I'm the only YouTuber they like. Well, thank you very much. But like, you're getting my personality, right? I got like beautiful long hair. I'm a wacko. I've got a lot of ideas. This is what I do on a Friday night. Like that works for you. If you really wanted me all buttoned up in a suit and in front of like a chalkboard, then I wouldn't be happy doing that and you wouldn't be happy listening to me. So we have to find our own tribe. And I'm super psyched that you guys are here. We got 50 some odd people with me now. We're an hour into this on a Friday. So it's totally amazing. But like, presumably, we're talking the same language, right? Like what I'm saying to you resonates. You guys want to have that Airbnb cash machine. The sausage analogy, while it's disgusting, makes some sense. You understand that we're catching the sausages and we're going to do something else with it, whether it's Airbnbs. And if it is more Airbnbs, we're going to diversify so that we have a long-lasting, sustainable business. If it's not Airbnbs, then maybe it's some stocks, maybe it's a little bit of crypto, maybe there's some land, maybe there's a new investment opportunity. And that's sort of the point that I'm making here, which is once we get to the entrepreneurial mindset past just Airbnb host, like the world is ours and you start to see the world differently. I walk into the Ritz-Carlton, or I walk into the bed and breakfast that I'm at and I take photos. I look at these things and I'm like, this works, this doesn't work, this is what I would do differently, here's how I would improve it. And then I improve. Or I walk into a restaurant and I think about, you know, like the server and the hospitality, or I get in an Uber and I look at what's clean and some people have some things, you know, some signs. And like, once you start thinking as an entrepreneur, you're just bombarded with like stimuli, amazing things, great things, bad things, things you can improve. And you got to start like really drilling down on that and starting to train your mind to like look for that and drill down on it and share it with like your friends, whoever's in the car with you, your family, whatever. Start to talk about this stuff. And then you're all talking about it. And like, you know, I don't know if my girls are going to be entrepreneurs, but I sure hope so. And the reason I sure hope so is I've got a very unfortunate view of sort of artificial intelligence and in combination with our lifespan. So we are all living longer, and artificial intelligence can already do the vast majority of what human beings do for compensation. Like almost everything between robots and artificial intelligence, we're practically not needed, right? Self-driving cars are here. We don't need to drive. But we do because it's a legacy position, but that's going to go away eventually. So the only thing that humans can really do that a robot can't do is creativity. It could be writing, it could be the arts, it could be music, or it could be entrepreneurial ventures. But fundamentally, if you've got a job, most jobs right now can be replaced. And here's the real problem with a job, in my opinion, is you're basically selling your time. So you can't leverage it. You can't, nobody's going to pay you an infinite amount of money for like 1 hour of your time or for 1 day of your time. So if you're living longer and you're selling your time and you don't have this like cash machine spitting out sausages in the background, you're going to have a long life of like working until one day you get to an unfortunate position where you're told you're not needed. We just got this robot. So I'd love my kids to be entrepreneurs. And what I was going to say about it is whether they are entrepreneurs or not, they are going to think like entrepreneurs because they just grew up in that space. And so being close to me and seeing the way that my mind thinks and being in the car with me when I'm having these calls, like that's all really helpful for them. And I love doing it. So I love the fact that you guys are paying attention to this, and some of you already are entrepreneurs. Some of you don't even understand like what I'm talking about and say like, no, I'm just here for the hosting tips. But even if you're just here for the hosting tips, spending time with me, listening to the way that I think and the opportunities and the examples, like you're becoming entrepreneurial. And that is a tremendous gift. And that's sort of like my why, right? Like I'm not trying to raise a tribe of the best innkeepers or hosts. We're going to be great hosts because that's what it takes for our business and our cash machine to generate a lot of cash. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if you look at my history running, investing money, these are all trades. Whatever trade I've loved the most, I've used intelligently, I've exited intelligently, and then I find the next great opportunity. And if you start to put together a string of these things, then you've got diversification, uncorrelated asymmetric assets, and we may leave the Airbnb machine running for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, but we're going to outsource it. We're going to automate it. It's going to be happening behind the scenes, and it's just going to be fueling us like sausage while we're finding new opportunities that we're learning. Like I had to learn hospitality for my Airbnb business. I have another business, which is a cash machine. It's called Brilliant Transportation. I started the most expensive, highest end ground transportation business in the country in the depths of the recession in 2009 when I started. And I had to learn ground transportation. I had to learn, dispatch. I had to learn hiring, training, chauffeurs. I had to learn all that. And now today, that business 10, 11 years later is still operating, but it's fully automated, completely outsourced, and I don't spend any time on it personally. I still have some relationships with certain clients, and we have the best clients in the world. We do unbelievable work for some of the best clients in the world, but like that is a standalone business that fuels a lot of my life and throws out, cash on the other end of it. And Airbnb is another one of these chunks, right? Like I'm building just chunks of businesses that throw off cash. And I'm constantly entrepreneurially looking forward to the next opportunity because what I like to do is get to these opportunities before everyone else. And in doing that, you get price appreciation. So anyway, long story short, I think being an entrepreneur is the only sustainable thing for the next 50, 70, 100 years. I would encourage everybody who has that sort of like passion or desire to do it to start to think about it differently, start to embrace it a little bit, start to let your mind expand when you see opportunities, be like, oh, that's an interesting thing. Start to just generate ideas, even if you don't do anything with them. Say, what could I do better? What's bad? What's not working? What could I improve? How would I change it? Oh, I like the tagline. I like the brand. I like the font. I like the color, right? Like just have fun with it. You don't have to do anything with it, but if you start thinking like that, you're going to really start to like grow. Lucy. HELOC question. If I set up a HELOC, will it adversely affect my chances for a conventional loan after that? Sounds like the advantages outweigh the possible effect on other loans. They will, in fact, hold that open credit line like as if it were draw down. But you can just explain that that's just there for a rainy day and, develop a relationship with your bank. So I would personally take the HELOC and then worry about the future financing later. And if you had the HELOC, you may not even need the future financing. You could use that. Bonjour, I'm a super host from Paris. All right, Gregory, I'm a big fan of your city, and I was supposed to go in May. My plans changed, but man, I've got to get out to Paris. CL with the hell yeah. I don't see a lot of these hell yeahs. Like, no, oh, there we go. Here's some. Hell yeah. Barbara, Colombia. Guys, nobody thinks it's really cool to have a business plan. One piece of paper. Cool people, cool things. Period. I think that's pretty cool. That's inspirational for me. Matt, I love your why, man. I create lifetime memories. That's amazing. Desmond, right on. Rayetta, feel your memories. Hell yeah. Oh, Lucy, no stocks for me. No. Real estate only. Look, real estate can go down too, my friend. I would advise thinking about like a S&P 500, buy and hold, put some dollar cost averaging, invest whatever, $100 a month for the next 50 years, and you will thank me. I promise you. Do I instant book Airbnb? Do I worry about calendars? I instant book everything, and I do not worry about calendars because it generally works. I've never had an issue. We want full metal jacket haircut. Whoa! Barbara, what are your thoughts on cameras outside the property? Outside the property, I'm fine with. You must disclose them. Don't like hide them. And then Barbara, if you do the outside cameras, you can't be a stalker. That's the single biggest thing we see on the Facebook group. People are like, oh, I put these cameras out there for security. And then their questions are like, so I looked and all these people checked in and they were standing outside. Like, no, that's not why you're installing cameras. You're not installing cameras to spy on people outside or to count how many vehicles or anything like that. You're putting cameras outside in case somebody breaks into your property. If somebody doesn't break into your property, you're not looking at the cameras. It will drive you crazy. It will drive you to drink. It'll burn you out. You will be like miserable. Like, don't do that. If you want to have cameras for security, cool. But then don't check them unless there's a security issue. And I have had security issues, and I have had to look at a camera in a place in New York City. I've had detectives come and look at a place at the camera. So like there's a place for the cameras. But I can look at it right now remotely on my iPhone, and I just never do. Why? Maverick is a crypto pro, only invest in what you understand, research. BTC may not be the best choice. I hear you, my friend. That's good. We all have our opinions. What was said earlier about a meetup in Georgetown on Sunday? Sunday, I was going to say March 17th, Dean and DeLuca. It's in the Facebook group. Please go ahead and indicate that you're going to attend. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. I think we've got, I don't know, half a dozen or a dozen or more people coming. Me in person, 2 hours, Dean and DeLuca, Georgetown, Sunday. So come on. Let's see. Listen, I really like the sausage machine. It's not so much that I like sausages, but you know, like when you're working with all right, cash, forget the sausages. I would like a mentor. Antonio, I would love for you to be around and learning, and that's why I'm here. All right, let's see. Kevin, would love for you to come. I've been coordinating with Richard. Oh, here we go. Lauren, there you go. Q&A from 3 to 5 at Dean and DeLuca. She's the founder of the Host Advocacy Group who's been so helpful in coordinating the citizens for STR in the area. Lauren, thank you so much. My house is hot girl for life. Listen, you should be in marketing. What a name. Hot girl for life. You got my attention. My house is 1 year old, but some nicks on the walls and painters got a little paint on the baseboards and window borders. Should all the paint and baseboards and window borders be immaculate? The answer is as follows. Yes, you should take pride in your place. If you don't take pride in your place, they won't take pride in it. But if you can't get that done because you don't know how to do it yourself, or you don't have the money, or there's tenants in there, like, monetize it. But yes, you should feel really good about your place. And if it drives you crazy that there's paint everywhere, then get rid of it. Anyone else just lose the video feed? I don't know, man. Georgetown in Malaysia. No, Georgetown in our Washington, D.C. How do mortgage rates correlate with treasury yields? It seems the spread grows the higher the treasury moves. You know, they don't correlate with the 30-year treasury in particular. That's a really long-dated maturity, 30 years. So they tend to focus much more on the short-dated stuff where the Fed, I was going to say manipulate, but that's a little negative. But where the Fed changes rates. So take a look at like the 30-day LIBOR or the 1-year treasury. That's going to have a much stronger correlation. I'm a super host from Fuerteventura, Canary Island. I share a room for kite and windsurfer. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Hey, Maverick, I've been reading the comments, my friend. All right, friends, look, we're an hour and 15 minutes into it on a Friday. If you have some more comments, go ahead and post them. Otherwise, there's at least 17 people who have not even given a thumbs up. And, you know, tell me what I need to do. What do I need to do? You need me to like dance or sing or something? Like, what do I need to do to earn a thumbs up? I mean, like, how hard can it be to push the button? Now, I do know some of you, I think on mobile, like there is no thumbs up, which is kind of weird, but we got one. Appreciate it. Lauren, can I join you if you need someone? You're welcome in my Airbnb in Paris, even for free, if you would be so cool to discuss with you face to face. I will be there. I will totally be there. Ask people to throw up emojis too. Fine, throw up emojis. Like if you can't give the thumbs up for whatever reason, give some thumbs up on the emojis or a heart or a smiley face or whatever. But look, the whole point is it's been a long week. I've been like on the road. I've driven 1,000 miles. I've had the best time with my daughter, watching her like walk these campuses with pride, knowing that this is a stretch, right? Like she doesn't know that she can get in, but it's a stretch. She's like, here, like I'm going to show up. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try and determine whether this is a right school for me, whether this is going to inspire me, whether this is going to educate me, whether I'm going to move past like Ben Franklin from being just a printer. I was going to say plumber, but he wasn't a plumber. Like, is this place going to inspire me to greatness? And that's the kind of thing that we can learn from our kids. Like, she's taking risks. She's out there. We're on campuses that are intimidating. There's all these amazing opportunities, and she's got to like dial it in and figure out where she wants to go. And I get the honor and the privilege to like drive her around and walk on these tours, and it's just amazing. And I'm super psyched. I haven't been to Georgetown, but I have to tell you, it's beautiful, and what a great educational institution, and the town is amazing, and this hotel is amazing. And so I'm just having the time of my life, and I hope on your Friday night I've entertained you. I hope you've learned a little bit. I hope I've encouraged you to get those butterflies. That means you're stretching. I hope you've started to think a little bit about being an entrepreneur in some capacity. You don't have to quit your job. Keep doing what you're doing, especially if you love it. But you can have some side gigs, right? You can have some entrepreneurial things on the side. And if and when the side gigs become more meaningful or more important or more lucrative, or you lose your job or you want to change your job, like you got that running start. You've been like doing it for a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years. So just get started. And same with the savings. Like the key thing is you got to save, you got to invest it, you got to compound it. If anybody here is like 20 years old and you're not saving money in the stock market or in real estate with a mortgage, not rental arbitrage, but like owning equity, then we need to talk. You need to change that around. I don't care how little you make. I don't care how like, you know, you've got a roommate and this and that. Like, you got to just save whatever you can save, because you will pay yourself back 1,000 times, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And my goal is for those of you that are in your 20s and 30s and 40s, and, you know, I'm about to turn 50 a year from now. Like, we have so much time. I'm turning 50. I've got another 50 at least ahead of me. Like, no joke. We're living to 100 plus, and that's without any medical science or any breakthroughs. So for the next 50 years, like the second journey, I think I did really well in life, and I had a wonderful first 50 years. I traveled. I had a great marriage. I have 3 amazing kids. I did really well in finance. I did really well in real estate. I did like really just well. I had a robust, rich life. But here's the deal. The second act, off the charts. Like you ain't seen nothing yet. And so if you can think like that, then it becomes reality. You start to take these chances, you start saving, you start investing, you change your life. We're not made to just like sit still. So I hope you guys found some of this stretching, encouraging, motivating, exciting, filled with love. I got lots of thumbs up. We got some smiley faces. We got a house over here. We got Prague. You need goals. What do you mean you need help to get your goals? Lloyd Gutterman, what do you mean you need help to get your goals? Like you don't have goals, or you need help to attain the goals? I hope you mean that you need help to attain your goals, because I can certainly help you with that. If you need help with goal setting, then I can help you with that. That should really help you a lot. Lauren, look, Maverick over here, Maverick, man, like this isn't the place to like hit on Lauren. You know, for God's sakes, it's Friday night. She's home. She's relaxing. Jeez, I'm just teasing. I finally got Airbnb Superhost. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I love it. Smiley face. roostorage.com to my game. 100 plus exercise and nutrition, 100%. I will email you. I email you, but don't know if you read it. I read it all. I do have a couple of really lengthy and very thought-provoking emails that I've been thinking about that I have yet to respond to, but your name doesn't look familiar, so I don't know what's up with that. But Rayetta, Yes, and your goals. Oh, we can work together on that. That's not a problem. How do we contact you for goal setting? Hot girl for life. Woo! I'm not going to touch that. But go ahead and DM me on STR University or email me. If you haven't subscribed to the email list, that's the best way to email me. And we can help you set goals. I mean, like this is fun stuff. Goal setting, like that is just so much fun. Okay, 100%. Smiles all along those spring break miles with your sweethearts. They are my number one why. You know what? I'm so fortunate I have 3 whys, and I'm going to post photos. I took a photo of my daughter standing in front of Benjamin Franklin on the University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater, and my heart was singing. You know, it was just like, oh my God. Now, she may not get in. She may not even apply. Right now, she's leaning towards my other alma mater, where I actually went for undergraduate, Cornell University. My ex-wife went there. She's been there a lot of times. It's a fabulous institution. So I think she's leaning that way, but it doesn't matter. The choice is hers. She can go anywhere she wants. Like I'm not encouraging her to follow in my footsteps in the least. It's her life. And my job is to support her and bring out the best in her. And she can go anywhere she wants and she can do whatever she wants. And I'm 100% committed to her like endeavor, her journey. Her journey is hers. The only thing I ask for her is to stretch. Like, do not settle. Do not do what's like in your comfort zone. Just go for it, right? Like, go for it. All right, just turned 20 and your second townhouse. Chase, dude, you are wealthy, my friend. You don't know it. You may feel broke. You may feel like, oh man, it's hard to make that mortgage payment now. But the fact that you got 2 townhouses, and I hope that you own them and you've got equity in them, you're forced savings every single month, not once, but twice. That's brilliant. Now what we need to do is start to get that cash engine flowing and take some of that cash and diversify into something else. Start putting some money in the S&P 500, you know, consistently, whatever you can put in, $50 a week. It doesn't matter. But if you do that from 20 to 50, you don't have to work again, my friend. Now, you may choose to, and hopefully you do. Hopefully you find like work that's really inspiring and motivating and you want to do it, or hopefully you find some philanthropic endeavor that you want to like fund and support. So like you choose to work. But it's a funny story. I was just speaking to somebody. It's really dark in here. I was just speaking to somebody about my travel schedule, which is just insane. And it's about to go even more nuts. Like in the next couple of weeks, I'm going from Washington, D.C., then I'm in New York. Let's see, where am I? Washington, D.C., then I'm in New York, then I'm in Washington, D.C. again, then I'm in San Diego, then I'm in Jackson Hole, then I'm in the Outer Banks, then I'm in Cambodia, then I'm in somewhere. I'll probably go to Laos or Vietnam or somewhere in the middle there. Then I'm in Australia, and then I'm like, you know, in June. So I'm basically living on the road for the next couple of weeks. And somebody said to me, you know, do you enjoy that? Like, that's so much travel. And I said, you know, I used to travel an awful lot as a hedge fund guy. My headquarters was in basically Europe. My clients were in Europe and in Asia. So I was on the road all the time. So like I've done that, and I love travel. So like it's not a huge issue for me. But it dawned on me, like, it's very different when I'm booking my own schedule, where I want to go, when I want to go, how I want to go, with who I want to go. And I'm doing it as like for me, as opposed to for some company or for some fund. So it's the same thing. Like you may choose to work, not because you have to, but because you find something that's so inspiring and important to you and motivating that brings you like joy. And that's the goal, right? Is to like take the financial incentive away from work, because you're financially independent. And then you can choose to do whatever it is that you want to do on a given basis. And you can choose to do it wherever you want to do it. You can choose to do it in your hometown. You can choose to travel. You can choose to do it in a variety of different places. It doesn't matter, but the choice is yours. I need to learn how to do short-term rentals. Desmond, come to the Facebook group, my friend. There's a lot of great information there. I'm filming a course on it now. So there's so much information. Lauren, so much good stuff. 3 hearts, friends. Lauren, not 1, not 2, 3 hearts on a Friday night. I mean, life is good. You should look at your first house as seed money. Yep. Have my Airbnb in Wicker Park, Chicago. I used to live in Chicago. I had a great time there. I do, yeah, I do have a lot of great airline miles. Hell, fucking yeah. That's it. I wish I could say your name. I'm just gonna say Matanaya Yip. I love the energy. My goal is to make at least 4,000 per month. I'm working too much for what it's bringing in now. Well, look, we can fix that. I love hosting other hosts. Look me up if you'd like to see Newport, Rhode Island. You know, Newport is just so beautiful. My daughter thought about going to boarding school there at, what's the name of the beautiful boarding school? It was just gorgeous. Great swim team too, but ultimately she ended up going to Hotchkiss. All right, guys, we're at 1 hour and 26 minutes. It's Friday night. I hope that you're surrounded with love and inspiration and some motivation. And, you know, generally people inspire like on Mondays, right? Like, oh, it's a big week ahead and I need inspiration. But how about this? A little gratitude on a Friday afternoon, a Friday evening, depending on where you are. Like, we're healthy, we're growing, we're stretching, we're working on ourselves. We're not just sitting down and like, you know, pounding alcohol to forget about our week. Like, we're sitting here, we're learning, we're getting motivated. We're starting to view the world differently. We're thinking about entrepreneurial stuff. It's just like life is rich, right? It's abundant. We're just doing amazing things. And even just, I'm sitting here on Wi-Fi, on a laptop in Georgetown, streaming to the world. We have had people from Uruguay, we have Chicago, we have all over the place. Like, what a great time we live in. What a remarkable time we live in. And I don't want to, you know, get too dramatic here, but just take a moment to appreciate everything that we have. You're sitting in your house or at work or on your phone. Like, that's insane. I was talking to my daughter today when we were on campus, and she was asking about how like life was like without a cell phone. Like, how did you find people at a party? How did you communicate? And I said, you know, we picked up the telephone. We made plans in advance, and it was just so foreign to her. So just think of how fast technology has evolved and what it's done to impact our life, and just realize like it's going to increase at an increasing pace. So what we need to start to think about is developing the tools that don't go extinct, that don't like get redundant, that don't get terminated. And the only way to do that is to start just brainstorming and stretching and taking some risks and listening to people that you trust and respect and surrounding yourself in a uplifting community, which is the Facebook group. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said earlier, if you didn't catch it, I think that's probably the place where I spend the most time and energy thinking about how to grow people. It may not seem it. That's my kind of thing. You think you're reading something, and it may be interesting, but over time, you keep reading these subtle messages. It has deep, lasting impact. So anyway, friends, RK, are you talking to me? Thank you. Trying my best to save as much as I can. Honestly, I watch your channel daily. Just reached my superhost. Thanks to you. Awesome, Chase. Come join us in the Facebook group. Read the emails. Great way to start the weekend. I love the positive mindset and energy. Awesome Friday night. We love you, man. King STRU, Tubbs. Appreciate it. Maverick. 12:30 on a Saturday. Where are you, my friend? Desmond asking Richard if he'd review my B&B for tips on how to make it better. Dubai. Man, I haven't been to Dubai in a long time, 3:30 in the morning. But I had a great time when I was last in Dubai. For real. Nita Wharton business short course for Airbnb. Missed the site critiques of the early videos. You know, those were super helpful, and I can't believe how helpful they were. One of the things that I'm contemplating when we reopen membership is figuring out a way to scale that. I have a really great announcement that I'm not prepared to make right now, but it is going to make friends of short-term rental university money, like guaranteed. A huge announcement on how every single listing is going to be improved. We have a huge announcement that we've already leaked out a little bit, that we've got websites for all of you guys. So like what this guy is working on behind the scenes is your own websites and improving your listing. Guaranteed. Boom. And you know what? We only have 20-something thousand subs on the YouTube channel, 12,000 people in the Facebook group, and there's something like X millions of hosts. So we're going to be like the 1% with the best listings and the best website. And like, that's what's coming around the pike. It's going to be practically free. I don't think I'm going to make any real money on it. That's not the point. The point is to help you guys make real money, because if you guys make real money and you change your life and you start to invest and you start to diversify and you do all these amazing things, then I win. I win by you guys winning. So I appreciate the love and the support, and I just am honored that you guys take the time on a Friday night after a long, hard week to wind down and cool down with me. And I'm going to encourage you to go find your loved ones, friends, family, relatives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, doesn't matter, but go be with people that you love, share that love, share the gratitude, and just encourage them to be their best self with people that are positive. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded. Surround yourself with people that want to grow and promote you and support you. And if we all do that, we all win. So Prague, I got that. Your birthday, St. Patty's Day. Happy birthday, Angel. Hi from the West Coast on your daughter's handle. Alice, get your own handle. Come on now. All right, my friends, 91 minutes. I've got a lot of work to do. Tonight is the night that I designated to take the course that I'm working on to the finish line. I've been working on it at night and on the weekends. And if you're on Instagram or in the Facebook group, you'll see photos of me, like my mobile office. I've been traveling. I'm fitting it in between all the college tours and the spring break. Like, I'm not saying no, and I'm not making excuses. And Georgetown with her friends from summer camp. This man is about to grind. So whatever time it is, 7:30, probably get a little bit of food. And then I got a long night just dropping more knowledge into this course. And the beautiful thing is, you guys have inspired me. All the love, the thumbs up, the hell yeah, the smiley faces, the emojis, like, that's my why. And I really appreciate your support, your love, your energy, your positivity, and for spending time with me. You know, I really do. So friends, anybody in the DC area, Sunday the 17th, 3 to 5 p.m. at Dean and DeLuca. Laura, Citizens for STR, thank you for organizing it. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to express gratitude for you guys and your time and your patience and your hard work and your desire to grow. Like, what more can I ask for? And until we meet again, I'm going to sign off. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Go hug someone. Go kiss someone. Be well.